That was a game between Crystal Palace and Leicester City that ended 2-2. And the senior man, the birthday boy, had a fantastic celebration by scoring that goal. Still within the sport rail right here on Sport Mattaz, we're actually trying to look at something of quite interest, that talking about Rivers Angels, who will be in the CAF Women's Champions League. Their preparation mood has not been too fantastic. The winning rate has been extremely low. For you, Joel, a lot of people expected them to pick up the Betsy Obaseki Cup right there in Edo State. They were considered favourite, but they disappointed their fans.
Oh, well, I mean, the fans should understand this, that the team has a big tournament coming up, the Female CAF Championship. I'm very sure they would have filled other A-list players.
But it's a competition where you needed to try some of these players out and check their fitness.
Trying new players, trying new patterns of play, technique and all that, which is not bad. But what if some of the key players get injured before the major tournament? So to me, it's not a bad one, but they just have to work more harder on them when they get to the big stage.
Now, Tayo, this is the first edition of the Women's Champions League in Africa. It's expected that a very strong representation from Nigeria will be gotten. But from what we're seeing, the River Angels team we've seen in two different competitions, they've not really sounded like a team that is ready to take the challenge.
Well, for me, it will be an eye-opener for them. And like Joy said, probably the Betsy competition or Obaseki competition, it's possible they didn't field all their big names. And if you look at female football in Nigeria, we've not really developed female football when it comes to female league. And we might not really have a good show at the end of the day, because if you look at the Aisha Buhari competition that we played, majority of those South Africans that beat us, they are playing in their local league, and these ladies will be coming to the Champions League, so they might definitely, at the end of the day, beat us apart. And majority of our team, the Falcons, our player, they play in Europe, so we don't really have developmental league when it comes to female, so it might really affect us at the end of the day.
Now, for you, Joel, do you think the management of women football itself, we know it's been given certain lip service, not much fun pumped into it, but going to the continent, would that expose our inefficiencies when it comes to managing women football?
You see, I've always said something like, now let me just digress a little bit. During the CHAN tournament, I said to myself, it's a reflection on the Nigerian league. It's still going to be the same thing. When we go out there, I remember when the Pyramids of Egypt came to Nigeria, they played a match with, I think it was Ayimba. They were going around the stadium, taking pictures and videos, letting the whole world look at the road that leads to the pitch. It's bad. And now we're taking a female team to, that is not that solid, to a team, the Champions League, Female Champions League. It's just a reflection of our league. That's just the truth about it. So I think I should follow them. I think they need to do a lot of job, develop these girls from the streets, because there are a lot of good players on the street that don't have clubs to play. So there has to be a program where you can fish out these ladies and and get sponsors to come in and pump money into the female league. Then let's see what happens in the near future.
All right, I have a question for you, Tara, before we go off this particular issue. We know developmental programs spreads between the male and the female football players, but we've not seen a structured program for the women league. I don't know why.
The issue is, it still boils down to the way our female athletes have been treated. Because it seems the NFF, they focus more on the Super Eagles. Even when the Falcons, the Falconettes, the female folks, when they go for competition, they don't get proper preparation. No, their financial package is not encouraging. And like Joel said, Aisha followed, she can't do it alone. She and her team, so they need a lot of support. And going to the streets, because if they go to the street, pick these girls, we have issues in our MPFL, non-payment of salary. So are we still going to be having this when it comes to females? So they just need support. So the ministers of sports, the various member of the federation should do everything possible to support these women, and we will get best out of them.
We'll see how it goes. The very best is what we want to see. So we're actually encouraging River Angels to go out there, represent us properly. They did well in the qualifying series, and we want them to carry this momentum into the Women's Champions League, the very first edition, and pick that trophy, come back home. The female angle of football has always put smiles on our faces, and this should not be an exemption. Talking about smile on the faces, Oshola, Barcelona defeated Arsenal in the Women's Champions League in Europe, and it was a brace for Oshola. Well,
I'm not surprised. They defeated Arsenal. Well, yeah. What do you expect? I think they won the Champions League once.
yes.
And Lyon has been Champions League are birthright and all that. But Barcelona being a team that they get all the support and everything, it's not bad. It's not bad for Shola and her team. I wish them well. But Arsenal, they really need to put themselves together next time. Probably they can.
Excuse me.
You heard me.
Tayo, I want to believe that for the African version of the Women's Champions League, a lot of things will have to be looked into as it happens in Europe, because the European Women's Champions League has come to stay. We see how enticing it is. We see the games highly competitive. It goes to say that the part of organization has helped the European Women's Champions League to get to where it is. For me, with what is coming up, do you see us meeting up with that momentum in another 5 years?
Yes, if there is a structure.
Especially from the publicity angle, because the publicity the UEFA Women's Champions League is getting has given it a new dimension entirely.
Yes, and they get endorsements, and it's just that because it's female, you can't compete with when it comes to the male
counterparts.
But they've been doing very well. And like Joel said, when you watch some of the highlights, even you will be very happy to see that. You will be wondering, are these people really ladies? But like you said, it still boils down to structure.
Yeah.
Because if you look at our national team, the female national team, 75% of those ladies, they play their trade in Europe. So if you can have like 50-50, half of them playing in Nigeria and they are established, definitely if you go for competition, if we can be doing very well on the continent, if they go for Champions League, definitely they will pick up the trophy.
Okay, picking up of the trophy, well, we know the Falcons, they are torn in most national team, female national team flesh. Do you think that phobia will also creep up to some of these clubs as we go into because I'm looking at what Barcelona is doing, massacring team. They've just given Arsenal 4-1. They've won the Champions League. They've been there. Do you think a domineering team will come to stay, and that team could be any team from Nigeria? I'm not specifically saying River Angels.
Well, now let me take a cue from the Aisha Buhari Cup. The South African girls, they really exposed our girls. Because
but the girls that played are not the home girls who are in the league.
That's what I'm saying. Even the girls that plays in Europe, a lot of them are not supposed to be in that team. I don't want to mention names.
Well, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, it is. But now let's come back to the league. You see, to me, like Tayo said, the concentration is on the male sport, which is wrong, which is not supposed to be like that. The same thing you contribute for the male has to go for the female. Because I remember after the World Cup, Rapinoe came out and said, look, we've won laurels for US number of times. We won the World Cup. You're supposed to get paid the same amount you give the guys. You're supposed to give to the ladies. And I think similarity has to happen in Nigeria.
That is the US.
Similarity has to happen in Nigeria. Pumping money, corporate body has to come in, then they can get a proper drive in the female league. Then we can develop a team. A better team.
Easy said than done, Ty. Don't think so?
Because, like what you have said is very right. Because
this easy said than done.
Yes, it's easier said than done. But the issue is, for this lady to have won the Alcon for 9 times, is speak volume.
I just imagine if it was the Super Eagles that had won the AFCON for 9 times.
Yes, you will have. In short, if Super Eagles have won the AFCON for 9 times, definitely there is every possibility that we must have gotten to the semi-final at the World Cup. Because you will have become a terror at the continent.
But are you aware that we've gotten to 5 finals and lost those 5 finals?
Yes.
That's a natural again. We've gotten to the finals 5 times. We've won it 3 times.
Then
8 times.
Another thing that has been working against the Eagles, if you look at the previous teams, they don't graduate. Because if you look at the national team, the Spanish national team, the German national team, from under 17 to under 20, under 20 to the national. But in the case of Nigeria, you just see a player from nowhere.
you know, this issue I just raised just now. I asked somebody, I don't want to mention name, but there are about 5 players in the Super Eagles team. I did a research to go back to their youth leverage. What team did they play for? How did they graduate? It was scanty.
Nobody cares.
It was scanty, but today they're the Super Eagles doing what they are Nigerians, they have the right to be there, but what is the progression?
Because if you look at the lives of Inacho, Osime, Awoni, they have antecedents.
Yes.
They are coming from...
They graduated from the
graduated.
youth
So if you can have like 15 of them in our national team, definitely they know themselves, they know how to play. Not that you just bring somebody from nowhere to go on.
The problem still boils down to the to the grassroots, because we don't have a good structure when it comes to grassroots sports. If we have a good structure, a player there under.
Talking about grassroots sports, so much focus on the male angle. I hardly see an academy that says I have female. There are,
academies, yeah.
But I hardly see an academy that says I have female footballers in my academy. What I see is a mix-up of the female and the male young ones in that academy.
There are lots of female academies in Lagos. I must tell you the truth. Even in other states too, there are. But the thing is, these coaches, they don't have a voice. Even the coaches union is not even strong, per se, because there's supposed to be a message from that grassroots team to the coaches union, then to the local FA, then from the local FA down to the NFF. There has to be a structure.
Anytime I hear the word NFF, I quizzle. Well, that as it may, we're wishing Oshola the very best, because the UEFA Women Champions League is still on, and she's actually putting in her best, and that form, we want to see transform into the Super Falcons. Let's give you some sad news, quite sad if you ask me. It's very unfortunate that some of our past heroes, the young ones, don't know them, they don't care to know them. There were people who played football, who did this country proud from the days of the Red Devils. Yes, somebody out there doesn't even know that the Super Eagles of today were called the Red Devils. And one of top such player is no other person than Sonny Oyarekhua. He is a retired police officer, very daring, very, very massive when it comes to scoring goals. He's no longer alive. And I just felt, it's all over the news, but I just felt that an archive should be created. Yeah, that's him in his old age. An archive should be created for these top heroes who had made us proud, where the young ones can go and visit them in a museum and ask questions and get inspired. Well, a lot of people didn't know that this was a top striker in the 70s, in the 60s, late into the 80s.
When I saw the news, I had to call my dad and say, please, you have to tell me about this man, because way back, so I wasn't born when he was playing, but I did some little research. I found out he was a clinical goal striker.
Clinical striker.
And he's about 6 feet plus.
Yes.
And what really caught my fancy was that he played alongside with Pele right here in Nigeria in 69.
Yes.
Wow, and imagine Pele was even in the country.
Yes.
Anyway, but it's quite sad when we have heroes like this, they pass on and nothing to show for. It's so strange, because in the near future, a lot of us were like, who is this person, who is that person? What are we going to tell our kids? You know what I'm saying? So now, like you said, there has to be an archive, not just an archive, a football gallery, a large edifice where we go in there and look at this player and say, I know this guy, Shogodebami, this was what he did, he went to school and he did that.
Before you go on, sorry to cut you short. Yeah. Something came up on Saturday. Wiley was here on Friday, and he spoke about the Lagos Legend Festival. I wasn't there, but the feedback I got, and I followed up the Zoom transmission, there were over 250 ex-players who played the game in Lagos, who played for Super Eagles. The person that surprised me was Gordon Okpara.
I think I saw him.
He came.
Photos too.
Good. And these were
was there too.
A lot of them. These were players who gave their best, from NNB to ACB to First Bank. It will actually ignite some passion in these young ones if they see them in a museum and say, so this man I'm seeing played football, his statistics given, because that's one area we don't really take too serious. Statistics.
Yes.
We don't.
Yes. It's not just see them in a museum. You see, there's something a lot of countries do, and like Brazil, for God's sake, Sometimes they just call Ronaldo, De Lima, Falcao, and say, guy, look, let's do something. Let's raise funds. I mean, let people know who we are. Back in the days, a lot of kids, they don't even know us. They always hear Nazario DeSanto, who is this guy, Romario and all that. They play games. Even if they have to put it, I mean, they allow the people to come in, you know, no gate fees, but sponsors have to come and say, look, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of history. When they get those funds, they give to charity or probably ex-players that are not able. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like that are less privileged.
Yes.
Because what happens to our ex? I mean, a lot of our ex-players they are suffering today.
They just there.
A lot of them.
There.
Monodeka is there. I don't know what happened to his medal. Then I don't know. His golden ball, golden shoe.
He'll be the best person to tell us.
I think so. That is somebody that scored the fastest goal in the history of under-20.
Well, that has been overtaken.
Yes, I know, by Mattaz. But for God's sake, these guys should be accorded something.
Tayo, from your own point of view, the only way you can get these players happy wherever they are is to immortalize them. What do you think should be done to this young man who some of his mates had come out to speak in some of the platforms and they were like, such a nice person, fantastic player, but don't let him be in the 18-yard box. It's a goal.
Well, the issue is everything is not money. Because when our heroes, when our athletes go for competition, by the time they return, you see governors, politicians promising them 1 million, this. They should be honored, even while they are alive. It's not when they died. You now name a stadium after them. I don't see that as honor.
Just like what has happened to Siasia and Adoke Mesemeka. Stadiums have been named after them, but is it enough? When you name a stadium after somebody, the person needs to be taken care of.
Because the issue is, like you mentioned, Mesemeka, I've not seen him, but then my dad always mentioned his name. The only person I know that if I see him, I can recognize very well is Shegun Degba, because I've seen him on TV.
Okay.
When he was presenting on
Adoka Mesemeka is a judge or a retired chief judge in Rivers State. He's still actively involved in football. Funny enough, the 10-man committee that the minister put up is part of that 10-man committee to rejuvenate football in the country.
So because these people's majority of them are still alive.
Yeah.
But it's when they die that you begin to hear, let's name a stadium, build a statue. They should be honored. Probably every year, quarterly, government should organize something, a forum or a workshop for ex-internationals. Give them a voice. Let them have a sense of belonging. It's not when they die, you just you want to give their families. I don't buy that idea.
Absolutely, I agree with Tayo in totality. I just hope that some of these ideas we're just floating and talking about here will become a reality. Before we go on this break, something happened to Masalo. He is the captain of Real Madrid. He said when he was young, he needed the ball. He got into a shop and said he needed the ball. The man says you need to pay. He said he doesn't have money. The man said then you can't have the ball. But eventually, the guy gave him the ball. He promised the guy that someday he will become a superstar and he will buy every ball in his shop. Eventually, he did fulfill that, went back, bought every ball in that shop and gave it to every young boy in his hometown. That is inspiration. When we come back, we'll be looking at Real Madrid as it concerns Mbappe. And Man U is in the news. The coach is speaking. We'll also take a look at Lukaku. And not forgetting that the PFA award for Player of the Month is also on and Ronaldo is in contention. We'll be right back.
Welcome along. It may only be the first day of the group games in the